We're talking about firing off a rocket, right? The button that you push at the end is the easiest part. So we need to know what's baked into your plan and make sure it is stress tested and it's going to last you 25, 30 years in retirement.
And welcome into another edition of Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement. We are here with Chicagoland's certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP, founder at TjStearns, Inc. And to start off this edition of Protect and Grow, Tim, you've got another fantastic financial tip of the week.
My number one tip here this week is definitely to stress test your portfolio. Why do I say that? Because look at the markets. I mean, they're roiling, they're going up. We don't really know why, but all good things must come to an end. And we're worried and we're managing for risk over here. So make sure if you have a plan, make sure you stress test it. What do I mean by that? What I'm talking about is actually showing what if the markets were flat for 10 years? Are you still going to be okay? Or worse yet, what if they went down 20, 30%? Is your strategy going to stay the same? So those are things that we're telling our clients to do.
Our outcome is only as good as the assumptions that our plan is based on. And, what happens if we're wrong with those assumptions, right, Tim?
Well, Peter, you gave a great example the other day, and we were talking about, firing off a rocket, right? The button that you push at the end is the easiest part. So we need to know what's baked into your plan and make sure it is stress tested and it's going to last you 25, 30 years in retirement.
Well, that is a great segue here, Tim, as we are talking about preparing to launch. It is right around the corner, the flip of the calendar page, a brand new year. And for many people out there, planning on it being a transition in life and a launch into a new retirement. And what does that really mean, and how do we accomplish that launch successfully and a successful mission there, Tim? And like you said, hitting the launch button might be the easiest part of the process.
That's right, Peter, because a lot of work goes into it beforehand to make sure that it is going to be able to launch. And that's what I look at that is it's mostly preparation. It's not the ignition. And, a retirement or a new year, as we're about to come up on it, takes preparation, structure, and precision. So those are the things that we're looking at.
What are you talking with your clients about, Tim, that you feel will help them be prepared for the year and the years ahead?
Well, what caught my eye just the other day is an article about how, it's hard to sustain these types of markets. So I think we need to re-examine our assumptions of rate of return to make sure that it's actually not going to be something that we're shooting for the moon to get a couple stars. We have to be realists.
And do you find that people kind of overestimate, overassume the rate of return that they should be making, Tim?
Absolutely, especially for the last 15 years that we've had a great run here. We've had a year like 2022 where the market was down 20% on average. But at the end of the day, I really worry about these people who are overestimating, what they have in the market is going to return.
I guess, in putting that in a different way, a different perspective, if we assume a 10% rate of return, but only get 5, our plan might not work. That's stress testing, right? However,
Yep.
if we assume 5 and end up getting 10, I don't think anybody's going to worry too much about that.
Well, to your point, when we do plans over here, we don't assume more than 5% return because I'd rather underpromise, overperform. And especially when someone's doing their retirement, you can't have them just, losing here and there, or not even coming close to what these people are shooting for.
Tim, when we're our analogy preparing to launch here, looking ahead at the new year or looking ahead at the decades of retirement, when we look at NASA for our example, there's always one primary mission, right? Is land on the moon, dock at the space station, whatever it may be. But in order to achieve that goal, everything else is also important, everything that goes into it. And we have a list of different things that are needed to accomplish that one main goal. Financially speaking, that's lasting financial security, right? What are some of the items on the checklist, so to speak, as we prepare to launch? And I know you've got several checklists for that countdown to retirement report.
Well, let's start with updating your budget. Things have gotten more expensive. I would take a look at what inflation has done to what you are paying to run your household. I would review my investments because a lot of people that are coming in to talk to us have way too much in equities for their age. I'd also make sure that you're confirming beneficiaries. And I always laugh when I think about that because one time from this show, we had a guy come in and he literally had his first wife as his beneficiaries and they were divorced and he married another woman. So I
Would
told him, I
not would
go,
not have gone over well.
no, I told him, I go, Frank, you would die twice at your funeral.
Yeah.
So that, and then the other thing is, check your contribution limits. My wife and I always said we'd give till it hurts, and now we've maxed out both of our 401ks and 403bs every year, and that's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Evaluate your risk tolerance. Where are you in life here? A lot of the people who come in to see us are getting ready for retirement, and you shouldn't be taking undue risk.
Well, and I know those limits get updated every year. 2026, the year ahead, no exception. You do have the ability to save and invest a little bit more in those
Oh yeah.
tax advantage retirement accounts, ladies and gentlemen. So understand that and plan for that at the start of the year makes it a whole lot easier to accomplish that goal, right?
Absolutely. If you plan ahead, it always seems to work out better. And I would not, I would lose a lot of sleep if I wasn't doing that.
Tim, we talk a lot about doing the work before the work,
Yeah.
planning and mapping things out, right?
Right. I mean, to our point earlier, we said the most important part is not the ignition. It's what you did prior to it. So, you don't want to sit there and, not measure twice to cut once and make sure that you have it under control for
And
your
then
retirement.
always keeping in mind, being conscientious of the fact that it will take continuous course correction. Tim, this is the time of year. I know you talk with a lot of your clients at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year. You're kind of doing reviews and projections,
Yep.
and you're crossing through things that have been accomplished. You're setting new goals and benchmarks for the year and years ahead, and that is a continuous process.
Well, life happens. It's not a static in a vacuum type thing. So we are always making sure that people are, if there's a life-changing event, unfortunately, we've lost a couple clients who their husbands passed away. And those are things that, are front of mind. We need to help them right away. And we've gotten really good at that. So, I mean, yeah, taking, the time to actually look at what they've spent and what they haven't spent and what we've returned are so important.
And no plan launches perfectly or stays seamless the entirety,
No.
right? Adjust, refine, redefine, adapt. These are words that will be used in our financial journey.
Exactly. I mean, you're looking at market volatility, changes in income. They could have a health event, tax law changes, which knock on wood, we're not going to see that for a while. And then, of course, I think this could happen is investment underperformance.
Hmm. And then, Tim, a lot of times people think a lot about the money and the finance and spend and dedicate some time planning and preparing for that, but have not really planned and prepared for what their time is going to consist of. What is life going to be about after we retire? That's an important part of the conversation as well.
I think so. I mean, there's a lot of people who I ask, why haven't you retired? They said they don't know what they would do without a job. So, and pick up golf, try pickleball, whatever it takes, that you're getting, out there and doing things and maybe take a little bit of time off by retiring.
Well, again, we are talking with Tim Stearns, CFP, your certified financial planning professional, ladies and gentlemen, and TJ Stearns Inc. is the home of the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Blueprint. That is your launch plan. That is the plan that defines the ultimate goal and then identifies the items that need to be addressed, the risks, the issues, the opportunities, the strategies, how you will work the steps to accomplish that goal, lasting financial security after the paycheck is behind you and the paycheck earning years are behind you in the rear view. How do you maintain a good course and trajectory? That is all part of the written blueprint, the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Blueprint that you can get only there at TJ Stearns Inc. And if you have one and would like to double check it, review it, update it, or you would like to get yours put together, that is always a complimentary courtesy service there at TJ Stearns Inc. And you can take advantage of that, schedule anytime, give a call to 800-640-2256. That is 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256 is the number to reach TJ Stearns Inc., conveniently located in Arlington Heights. And they've helped so many proactive planners, savers, and investors throughout and across the Chicagoland area, but so many more need a plan, that plan for the long view, the lasting financial security. And Tim, you're looking forward to helping even more. And that's why you make this an easy process and a complimentary courtesy service there at TJ Stearns Inc. Again, ladies and gentlemen, give a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, you're looking forward to helping a lot more people feel confident as they lift off into retirement.
And we are. I think a lot of people are lost in the process, and it seems almost overwhelming that we're there to help them. And then we get them through a 25 to 30 year retirement. Things are really good for them by doing so.
Well, whether it's a new year, a new goal, or a new phase of life retirement, it does require vision, structure, planning, discipline, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Stearns can help you out with that, putting the plans together, being accountable, helping you be accountable as well to make sure all of the steps have been addressed and that you are truly prepared. So if you would like to get that written Protect and Grow Retirement Blueprint, pick up the phone, give TJ Stearns Inc., Tim Stearns, CFP, a call, 800-640-2256. That is 800-640-2256. Tim, always appreciate it.
Peter, thanks for having me.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit TjStearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.